So, welcome everybody. Hope you are having a great day. I have a load of exams and papers that are due, so I also have a bunch of allergies that are coming up and down, so this should be fun. But so this right now, this 3 hours is such a bless and such a time off for me. This is amazing. I really needed this, so I am very happy to be here. I'm usually happy to be here, but today I'm extra happy because just I cannot look at biochemistry and pharmacology anymore. Oh, just yeah. And I can't really leave my room because when I leave my room, I sneeze and I get all puffed up. Allergies that I'm still not sure what I'm allergic to. So yeah, I am bored in a house. I'm in a house bored and looking at my 150-page study guide and enjoying my time here with you. So I would like to kind of know how you guys are doing. That would be great because I really do like this class because we are very interactive. I get a lot of awesome chat and awesome ideas, and that's one thing that I absolutely love about this class. So let me make sure my tea is not going to fall on my laptop. That would be a disaster. I think I had a dream like that, but I burned something down by putting water on it. I've been having some weird dreams. Alright, so the first game that we are going to take a look at is Lasker Capablanca 1914. This game kind of jumps in the end game too fast. So if we're lucky, we would be able to get another game, squeeze another game in two. Peachy is walking right here. Because I've been having few not exactly happiest days of my life, Peachy has been super affectionate. Every time I'm sleeping, I wake up, he's like right under my chest or being a little spoon, and it is just too cute. Peachy is the best. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a quick look. Well, probably not be that quick, but take a look at Lasker Capablanca. And for those of you who probably might need to take a break and come back, be sure to join us for the next 2 hours because we're going to be doing game analysis, and make sure to select a game or two and send it on Twitch in about an hour, maybe a little less, and then we will be doing that there. So yeah, start thinking of which game you want to show me. Alright, so I kind of like this game because I played Ruy Lopez here and there, and kind of not exactly my specialty, I would say, but I actually have never ever played Ruy Lopez Exchange Variation, which is so weird. I've always wanted to like try different lines just for the fun of it, but in this specific situation, uh, I've never tried that. All right, it is 5 a.m. in India. Boy, my sleep schedule is so messy. Let me tell you, because I have this. I study better at nights because during the day it's so much noise in this building. So I started to shift my sleeping schedule, and I was up until 6 a.m. last night, which is not a very healthy thing. I don't recommend that to anybody. Don't do it. But yeah, this is not a website. This is my personal software, Chessbase. Chessbase, I believe, is someone's professional software for organizing your databases, keep tracking of them, loading strong engines. But beginner intermediate, you don't really need Chessbase, honestly. But anyways, they are pretty great. All right. When it comes to exchange Ruy Lopez, it's quite interesting because there is always a stigma that you don't want to play something like d4 because then it just goes to the end game, and it's been like somehow it's believed that you don't want to go to the end game, but that's not necessarily true. It's very stigmatized, and in recent years, keep in mind this game was over 100 years ago, so in recent years it has been different, and so yeah, d4, take, take, take. If black didn't want to take, bishop g4 is a recommended line as well. And again, but the problem is that it's not about who takes what. It's about if white wants to exchange queens, white will get to exchange queens. And the pawn structure, so the whole thing about Ruy Lopez, exchange Ruy Lopez, is the pawn structure, because white wants to enjoy this extra, supposedly extra pawn and the majority on this in the center. And so yeah, that's what it is. Anywho, after bishop g4, something like knight c3 is possible. The queens would get exchanged eventually, and this is another, like, there's so many deep lines in this. But I want to keep us to the main line, and if we have a little time, I would really like to come back and look at this very interesting endgame of it too. It's another game that Lasker played in a World Championship match in Paris 1909, but we are not really. I mean, I still really want to watch it, but I would prefer to keep my focus on this game and give us some time to actually dive deep in the end game of it. It's so weird to call this end game because there's still so many pieces on the board. So when I say end game, I'm always gonna probably give you a little eyebrow twitch. All right, so c5, that's another line. But what about bishop d6? What do we think about this move? So one thing that I would absolutely love it if you guys were able to communicate and engage in this is that, well, what is white's plan? And we kind of have a clear idea of what white wants to get into. White wants to be able to use this extra pawn, right? But it doesn't mean that black is totally lost on move 7. So how can black use that? How can black play with that? Any suggestions? Black just played bishop d6, so what do you think should happen? This is so quiet. Are you guys good? Do you need coffee? Because I got my tea here. That's a pretty good tea. Soon, in a few days, I think in 3 days, it's the Persian New Year, Nowruz, so I'm a little excited on that too. Just need to survive this week. I like the idea of f4 e5. I very much like knight c3. Knight c3 is just the move you should do when you play. Well, the knight belongs on c3. Your knight on d2 or e3 wouldn't really do any good. So let's keep this knight on c3 and then see where it goes. So after knight c3, what do you think black should do? Because there are a few good moves, and one of the things that black should definitely think of is, where do you want to place this king? Well, not right now, but where do you want to go? Short side, long side? Alright, so I see a lot of ideas still in between, and I see a cute bear in the chat too, so I like bears. Bears are cute. So I see a lot of long, I like that. A long castle has been seen to be played much more recently. I remember I was preparing to play against, I was training to play the Ruy Lopez, the exchange duration as black, and I remember that we worked so much on the long castle ideas, and they were quite interesting. There were some other ideas too with like short castle. You put the rook on d8, and then you put the other rook on, let the other rook stay on a8 and try to push the pawns. But it's either side is fine, honestly. But back in 100 years ago, long castle was not as ideal or promoted. Maybe they just didn't really get to talk about it. Anyways, f6 is another idea that's very common too. This would be the game that's, funnily enough, happened in the same year and same tournament between Alkhain and Lasker. If Capablanca here played f6, a lot of world champions in this in our chess and psychology today. It's kind of getting weird on my tongue. All right, so bishop e3 is another way to do it. And if white wanted to do long castle, this is a pretty cool way to do it, because this pawn at my problem with pawn at f6 is that when you start to push like f4 or e5, then it could be a little complicated, because then your e pawn could be lonely, and that's not necessarily what's it's not everybody's dream to have isolated pawns. So that's one thing if you wanted to give this f6 a try. But knight e7 makes pretty good sense too. If you think about it logically, yeah, thank you, Honest. If you think about it logically, this knight belongs on e7, because on f6 is just going to be under this pawn's thumb, I guess. And so we need this knight to stay on e7, and white would most likely try to push the kingside pawns, right? So if white tries to push the kingside pawns, then we need to try and stop it. We can't just sit there and let it happen, right? So let's say if knight goes to e7, that's what actually Capablanca did in the game. But let's say we still get this castle, and then f4. Now what should black do? Because I'm not just going to sit there and let you play e5. And I don't want to just surrender this center, and I don't want to just give you a cute past pawn. So any suggestions? It is restricted by the pawn, but the point is that white wants to push this pawn. So if the knight goes on f6, then e5 would be much easier for white. So we keep this knight on e7 so we can fight it with f6. Thank you, yes. And Danny, does castle instead of knight c3 prevent knight f6? Or does black want to? Yeah, black does want to play knight e7 anyways. Oh, sneeze. Whoa. I apologize for that. Let me also get my microphone closer. I forgot to do that, so you probably didn't really hear me explode. Alright, please somebody let me know if everything is fine in the chat too. I mean, microphone-wise. I'm good. I have a lot of allergies and they are not helpful. So, after f4, Capablanca is... this move seems weak with f4, but it's kind of funny because he said it after the game, and Capablanca lost this game, newsflash, and so it might have been like sore loser talk, so that's another one too. It's kind of funny to see that even world champions do that. Alright, so f4, and Capablanca actually went for rook e8 first. I makes me a little I'm not really sure because my problem with rook e8 is that if you want to play f6, just do it already. And if we played this f6, then e5 is a stop, but at the same time, my rook here is kind of helping not to have this e5, but I can also see how rook e8 would be interesting. What if rook e8, this move e5 was played though? Probably bishop c5, bishop e3. It's still a very, very interesting game, and maybe now I could even try to do knight d5. It's a big, big maybe because this is still not really the dream position, but it would look pretty good. At least I would fix my pawn structure. So rook e8 might be an interesting choice to try and trigger this e5, because then you would get bishop c5 and, oh, careful, if knight f5, knight can just take on f5. If here knight f5 was played, no, not that, go back, bad pawn. If knight f5 was played, then knight would just take on f5, and you know, you would kind of lose a piece. So let's try to keep that together. Be very careful with these little sneaky knight moves. So let's say white plays knight b3. Now what should black do? Now I really want to play this e5. What do you think black should do? f5. Well, if they play f5, then e5 still happens. So yeah, I like f6. Now what should happen? Oh yes, hello Imani. Sorry, I kind of missed that part. Yeah, I like f6, no more e5s. But now, even though there are no more e5s, what do you think white can do? White has a very strong move right now. Nope, this is not a rook move. We should definitely always develop, but at the same time, opponents want to develop bishop, opponents want to develop knight, so can we somehow take those away from opponents? Exactly, thank you, Fragrance. f5. F5 it is. Now, this f5 is blocking the bishop, it's blocking the knight, so black should start thinking about a way to activate his pieces. Because if you don't activate your pieces, then you're not really losing them, so. And the interesting part is that Tarash called this move exceptionally surprising and fine, which sounds like a compliment, but it's also a little fine. I mean, fine fine? Come on, f5 is not fine, f5 is cool. And Capablanca didn't really think it should have worked, but yeah, I think this f5 was pretty awesome. So I'm gonna go with cool and awesome, exceptionally surprising, cool and awesome, and instead of Tarash calling it exceptionally surprising and fine. Yeah. Thank you, Anus, for the details. Thank you. That's extremely helpful. Yeah. So, it's gonna be a complex battle because white is gonna putting pressure on black, right? And white has this like extra cute pawn, and John, don't worry. There is no real wrong answers as long as you get something out of the position. Pishi has found a new sleeping spot on top of the fridge inside of a cabinet, and he is loving it. He does not come out of there. Like, I'm not sure if that's okay or not, but he's just always there. Unless I open the door and he wants to run outside. But today is a little rainy, and or when I go to actually sleep in my own bed, he follows me and he snaps with me. It's so cute. Alright, back to the big chess guys of Lasker Capablanca. Unfortunately, Pishi can only out-cute them. I don't think he can outplay them. So f5. Now, after f5, this move b6. Now, what do you think about that? Gotta get this bishop out, so probably have to do this b6 and c5 at some point. But then you get your bishop out, then what about your knights? And the knights would be actually pretty interesting if it was on e5. But then if your knight is on e5, your bishop is blocked. So you see how it's constant back and forth. If you open this, then you're going to block that. If you block that, then you're going to open this. So, yeah. After b6, bishop f4. Now, I kind of want to know, do you guys think that the bishop exchange should happen? So should black take it over here? Or should black just let it be and just like play bishop b7 and develop? Keep in mind, if white takes my bishop, I'll just take it back with the pawn and my pawn structure is kind of fixed. Kind of. Big emphasis on kind of. Never play f6. That is, hey buddy, usually that's true, but there are instances that is not exactly relevant. I mean, that doesn't exactly go that way, especially when your opponent is about to take the whole center, then f6 is kind of needed. Or when, you know, opponent is trying to play something like e5, or when there is no white color bishop to attack my king and enjoy this diagonal, then yes, f6 is doable, but most circumstances f6 is not the way to go. So now, it's kind of interesting because I also thought that taking is not the best move, but black should have taken this. Take, and c5. This is the way black should have played, and then continued it with getting the bishop free, and then trying to exchange some pieces, and it's still not as ideal of a position as you would want it to be, but your bishop is somewhat open, your knight is going to come to e5 or d4, and it's still a strong position. There's still a lot to be played. So that's why it's, I'm not exactly, let me try to find the right way to say Capablanca made a mistake without saying Capablanca made a mistake. Yeah, so Capablanca made a mistake, which is kind of funny because I am a huge fan of Capablanca, and to me, he doesn't make mistakes. And but unfortunately in this game he did. and he played bishop b7. He didn't want to exchange the bishops, I assume because he was really focused. Concentrate? No, wait. I can't say it. My English is not working. Because this, in this opening, well, in this, oh, he was very focused on his pawn structure, and so I assume that black didn't really care as much about piece activity as he should have, and he just kind of focused on, okay, great, if he takes it, I'll take back, and I'll just have my piece activity. Pawn structure fixed and somewhat of piece activity. But compare this position with this position. Black feels more free. It feels like it's breathing. So, yeah. Anywho, after knight d4, I'm gonna ask you, what do you think black should do? Because black is the one who is a little bit in pickle, right? Like black is trying to figure out how to get his pieces working, but it's not exactly working the way he wants it to. He fixes the pawn structure, the piece activity is not working. So what do you think? d5 might be too early. Keep in mind, this knight is about to jump into some really weird squares. Just to give you another idea of why bishop b7 was not exactly ideal and bishop takes f4 should have been played, Kasparov also called bishop b7 a fundamental mistake, which, and then Capablanca later kind of confessed that he played it and he kind of overlooked opponent's reply. And yeah, so even big guys like Capablanca have made horribly weird mistakes. Not blundering, well, I'm sure they've done that too, but not blundering, but positional, not understanding the position, which is so out of character, and we don't expect that, not from Capablanca, not from world champions. So, it shows how people under pressure break. So let's go after knight d4. What do you think black is going to do now? Great fragments. Actually, that's kind of cool. Yeah, that is the psychology of it. Thank you. It's kind of why I call this class just on psychology. Alright, bishop c8 is the way to go. After bishop c8, now white is kind of white has some issues. White can't really enjoy this knight going to e6, and then would get c5. Then now you gotta move this knight back. E6, maybe just take, and you gotta move this knight back, and then this pawn is still a little weak, so probably a rook d8, and then a knight c6. But you see, we're pushing back. You should push back. Bishop c8 would be the way to push back. Capablanca played rook d8, knight e6, rook d7, rook d8, and here Capablanca made another not very efficient move. So you see why this game is one of my favorite ones. Even though I totally love Capablanca, he messed up in this game. So yeah, kind of fun to see that. Now, after rook d1, what do you think black should play? And I know I keep asking you what should black play, because if black played the best moves, then this game wouldn't be as interesting for us. Thank you, Imani. Yeah, I try to keep the theme colors all kind of a happy summery color, warm. I see d5, I see g3, g6. does not work right now. The rook on d7 is too vulnerable, the pieces are not ready, you won't be able to do a rook to d8 because of that knight on e6. So you can't do that. You need to figure out a way to kick this knight. Can we ever kick knight or get king in the game? That's kind of the idea. We're hoping to kick knight. c5 might be the way. Looks a little not exactly happy because there's this knight d5, and if you take, then you try to push on the other side, and that knight on e6 is just too painful. And then like white could start pushing over here and then there, and it's not exactly what we want. So yeah, c5 might have been worth a try, but knight d5 kind of makes it quite hard to go for. In the game, black played knight c8, and after knight c8, white continued with rook f2. What do you think of rook f2? I know, right? What is this knight c8? I'm assuming that black wants to continue with like b5 as he did in the game and trying to maybe activate this knight, but it's just too painful. Like this pawn is here, the knight is defending it, the bishop is blocked by there. It's just so ugly. Yeah. So black is still trying to create something. I don't exactly know why. And I mean, I know the why, but what? And here, Capablanca did the ultimate move. He played bishop a8. And I understand it. He probably wants to swing the rook to the other side and probably wants to try and create something on the queen side, but if you have to play bishop a8, it's the equivalent of a relationship dying and then people just kind of staring at each other and being, oh honey, I love you, please don't go, but the relationship is dead. So bishop a8 doesn't exactly work. So instead of doing that knight on e6, that very strong poisonous knight, take it. That's what you should have done. It's kind of radical and it's not exactly ideal to lose that, but that's what you should have tried. Yeah, it's a sad metaphor, but it's real life. Thank you. I'm glad some people like my metaphor. There we go. Peachy's been going through a breakup with one of his stray cats. No, I'm kidding. All the stray cats come back for Peachy's food. Alright. So that's most likely what black should have tried, to gain some piece activity, and that's kind of it would be interesting, yeah. Honestly, I am kind of singing in my head. It's my happy place. So yeah. Anyways, after a3, bishop a8. Oh, I can give you another example. Bishop a8 is like, no, that's again metaphorical. Could be some sad metaphor. No, it's okay. Bishop a8, you get the idea. Just looking at it, you wanna go, ugh. Also, I've been trying to watch some episodes on the TV show Bones, and it's just too gnarly. Anywho, I'm glad you feel that way, Captain. I do like music, but it's a little, I don't know how to explain it. Club policy, let's go with that. No music for now. Might change later, but for now we're still sticking with no music. All you're gonna hear is the sound of my fridge, and maybe laptop overheating. No ice cream falling on the ground. That's sad, but this is like, this is cruel. I want something, some cruel metaphor. Yeah. Oh, sad. Okay, so I'm glad you guys liked my dying relationship metaphor. Yeah, so we can go with that. Bishop a8 is a dying relationship, and yeah. So, bishop a8, king f2. See? White's doing fine, bringing the king up, using some space, and black is just shifting some pieces around. Oh. Am I playing when I watch? Oh wait, I don't think you're talking to me, friends. Yeah, so g4, rook a7, g4. You see, black has some ideas of pushing pawns, but not necessarily gonna happen just yet. Because white is also bringing some force on the king side, and you see, my king is here, so I have to care even a little bit to try and stop this. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad everybody likes my analogy. Alright, so after h6, now what? Bishop a8, waiting for apocalypse? Nah, it's not that. It's like, I think Capablanca knew his position was kind of sucky, but he was still trying. But his best try would have been to, you know, take on e6 and give it up. That would be breaking up on time, for example. But then when you play rook a7, it's like, you know the relationship is sad and dying and there's so many problems, but you still want to keep going for who knows why. And yeah, so that's kind of why it's not exactly apocalypse, it's more like still trying and still miserably trying. Anyways, after rook a7 and h6, then see, white is still being super active, bringing a rook. Finally, black tries to open that side up a little bit, but it is not enough. Now, here, the move that black did, this move that Capablanca did, just this move. Let me try to find a way to explain it. Ah, exactly. This is when you've broken up with someone and then the next day you call them, oh, hey, honey, just kidding, I'm coming back. So this move is like that. Do you want to guess what this move is? Crocodile. Whoa. No. Look, I don't want no murder on my channel. So what move do you think is, in this position, is the equivalent of calling the person you broke up with and being like, haha, just kidding. Exactly, rook goes back. Rook e7, exactly. That's the way to do it. Rook e7 is, exactly, yeah, oops, made a mistake, I didn't mean to do that. Rook e7 is that. So avoid those, don't do those mistakes in real life or in chess preferably. Yep, no rook going there. Rook a3, you're already committed, you already played this rook a7, just bring it to a3 too. And then here, well, rook a3 should have been played, but Capablanca made another mistake and he didn't do it. And if rook a3 was played, this would be a nice way for white to continue. You get rid of that one active piece that black has. The knight is still here defending this sad pawn. The bishop is here defending this guy. So yeah. And after rook e7, now what? Rook a1, interesting. I actually didn't think about that in the span of the moment. Huh. I'm very focused on the king slide, so trying to figure out exactly how to try and push this g5. You guys are gonna love this. Let me give you another metaphor. This might be hard because white is having a great time. Nah, I can't give any crappy relationship metaphors for this. Let's see. Oh, this might be hard to pull off. No, I got nothing. So, I can give you a little hint though. Every single piece in white's position is doing something. This knight is stopping c5, this knight is just paralyzing black, this rook is stopping this knight from moving. This rook on d1 could move somewhere, but it's not exactly necessary. So the idea, yeah, exactly, the idea is to try and bring this pawn to g5, but we need a little bit more support. Thank you, Yaroslav. King gotta go to f4. Boom. Now if black tries to play something like g5, you just bring it back, and then later on, slowly, rook h1, enjoy this one, file, and boom. Yep. Yeah, I'm very stressed over my horrible week. Like, I made a list, and let me just show you. This is a list of the things that I had to write over the weekend. Just 2 days, and it was too much typing. And I still have to watch some little things for my tomorrow exam, and I am not ready for that. I really, really hope I survive this exam. It's painful. Anywho, I'm not gonna sit here and talk about exam as long as they're awesome, crappy relationship metaphors to give. So, what about g6? Should we take that? I could always use an assistant, that is true. I agree, we shouldn't take that. We don't want to give up our knights, right? There you go. That should give us some answers. So, how about rook g3? Simple. No, I just want to play g5. I want to chill. Wow, Sharma, you have a test in 3 hours and you are watching me. You are amazing. I probably will have to stay up all night. Ugh, I am not ready for this test. Anywho, after g6, rook g3. What if g5? Let me also tell you, what if take? If take, we would simply take back and then go for g5. Amazing, right? If take, just take, and that pawn will be very painful. See, that's the equivalent of breaking up with someone and then they get engaged like the next day to someone else. I think this position is like that for black. There we go. That's as dark as it could get. Ah, awesome. But black tried to make it a little long-lasting, I guess, by playing g5. And now what? Should we take that? Because I don't really want to take that. Little pawns are irritating. Yep. I don't really want to take that, because if I take that, then just takes back, and then I gotta move my king, and that's... I mean, I have to move my king anyways, but I really, really don't want to take that, just because if I take it, if you take it with the other pawn, there's a king coming to f6. But if you even take it with this guy, there's still, again, white still has much better game on the h file, but black can still fight quite a lot on this, and I don't really want to give you that satisfaction. So I'm gonna go with king f3. I'm not gonna take it just yet. I'm gonna take that though, and then I'm gonna go there. See, we could have taken over here, but there are issues. This knight could get very, very active, and then this knight could jump to e5. And let's say you move your rook wherever, and then not just knight e5, even rook h8. Now this rook is active, this knight is active, this bishop is still quite miserable, to be honest, but it's getting there, it's trying. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to give you that satisfaction. So I'm gonna go with rook to h3. And now what? Chess on metaphor. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Yeah, see? Breakups help. All you gotta do is just put them in the chess analogy? Wait, no, that's not. I said that reversed. Ha. Imad, I am not a med student yet. I am studying for the exam, the MCAT, to get into the medical schools. Wait, why would I take a draw? White is better. Anyways, after rook h3, if knight c4, you could just give this check, and then you could just bring this rook to the other side, which is so cool. Because see, you can't really take it over here, because then you would lose this bad boy. You gotta move back, and bam. I just won a piece. So bishop b7, and this would also be a quite pleasant way for white to continue. A lot of different ideas. So black played rook d7. Now this here is something that I didn't think of, and I was quite ashamed that I didn't think of. So white to move, what do you think white should do? Thank you, Imad. So all the ideas that you guys are giving is quite valid, but something like king going to g3 blew my mind. And I believe the idea is that if you play knight c4, you want to go knight e5. I don't want to be in the crossfire of the check, so that's why we would try to go king to g3. And after that, Capablanca played king e8. Now we doubled the rook. And if something like knight c4, boom, rook h8. And if bishop to b7, then just this cool e5. e5 is a move that I don't think it's too hard to find, because we have to include the last piece in the game, and the best to go is on e4. And if take, just knight e4. I want to jump into f6. If you did that, then this is another. Ooh, knight takes g5. Oh my god, this is so pretty. Where is my checkmate? It should be right here, right? Just check. Another check. Maybe the other knight. Can I just do? There we go. There is my checkmate. What's wrong with rook h7? Where? Oh, I'm so sorry. I do not hear myself when I'm streaming. So if you guys could give me a little insight on what, like, should I bring the microphone closer? Should I scream? I don't want to scream. I'm not a screamer. Yes. So that's why d takes e5 is like one last try. Still knight goes to e4. I still want to take on f6. I still want to jump to c5. There we go. Jump to c5. This would also work, actually. Take, and just then go into c5. Oh, the low hum would be my laptop overheating. I apologize for that. Let me try to move some stuff around. Maybe it gets a little better. Alright, also this knight going to c5 is another cool way to win. And if tries to defend that, I could just even take that guy and just attack that guy and just bring the rook from the other side. This reminds me of the game I had with Jennifer Yu. I was moving my rooks around a lot too. Anyways, check and just knight c5. See, rook d7 is coming up for checkmate ideas. I guess knight b7 will do the job, or knight e6. There are like 3 ways to checkmate right now, so kind of hurtful. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this game. This was a very beautiful game played by Lasker and Capablanca. Capablanca kind of helped Lasker a lot. So I'm glad that you guys have been with me for the past hour or so. We are going to switch to Twitch pretty soon, so please go ahead and try to find the best games you want to send me, and well, just send them to me on Twitch. Preferably make sure that they are from Lichess. It's easier to work with Lichess because I'm gonna be analyzing games on Lichess, and we're gonna stream on Lichess, so do that please. We're gonna do that for 2 hours, so yep, basically switch to Twitch. And yes, please be there in about 10 minutes or so. I'm gonna have to wash up, get more tea, and change the key, but I'll see you guys there in about 10 minutes. So please be ready, follow our Twitch channel, make sure to be ready to start sending the games. Oh, I see someone already sent the game. Wow. Yeah, so follow the Twitch channel, send your games. What about my exam? I'll go study after this next 2 hours with you. Alright, this was amazing. I feel much better, and I'll see you guys in 10 minutes.